All right, welcome back to the New Equity Network show. I'm Michael Yorba, your host and co-host today with me, Jared Fabriello. All right, Jared, welcome back into the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, my pleasure. Jared's going to pop off on a couple of questions. Our first guest, Ron Davis, a funding specialist at Merchant Banking Resources. These people have been doing remarkable things for helping commerce, helping companies bridge that little gap that they need to get to the next hurdle. Ron, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Now, I know that you're on the road. Thanks for being here on the show today, calling in from Atlanta. Normally, you're based in Henderson, Nevada, right?
Correct.
All right. Since 2008, you guys have been making merchant cash advances from $25,000 to $3 million in all 50 states. Walk us through, for those listeners that haven't heard, our conversations with Mark, the owner of your company. Walk us through a background of what Merchant Banking Resources does for companies, how you help them, and then let's get into, if we can, the differences between what you're doing and other, say, natural funding sources for businesses.
Okay, certainly. Well, one of the things, in today's market, there's definitely been an alternative for small businesses, where they have other resources to depend on other than, your larger finance institutions and banks. And one of the things we've also noticed in the market is the red tape that you would necessarily encounter when you go to apply for a business loan. Not to mention, there's a lot of red tape. The time frame associated with getting approved for a business loan for a merchant can be relatively challenging, especially if you have deadlines to meet. So what we do at Merchant Banking Resources, we offer, merchant cash advances and small business loans that allow people to acquire the working capital that they need in a matter of days and not weeks. We have a very fast pre-approval process. Most of our merchants are pre-approved within 24 to 48 hours. Our customer service is second to none. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week customer service department. We are, we're setting the trend in the market from having some of the best pricing in the industry for working capital loans. Our renewal rate is what we'll talk about shortly. It's ridiculous for the industry. And we're doing some really great things. We've already funded well over 1,000 businesses. And as you mentioned before, our loan amounts range anywhere from $25,000 to $3 million.
All right. Now, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
No, I was going to say, one of the things that we've been able to do for companies, as you mentioned, is be able to provide that bridge, be able to provide the necessary resources to take that growing company to the next level. And we work with really big names in the industry, McDonald's, Booth Corporation. We work with other franchises such as Subway, Arby's. We specialize in franchise working capital, just, by the way, as well. So many big names in the industry, franchises we have worked with. We're one of the number one lenders and providers for funding for the furniture business. So we have a lot of clients who have furniture businesses, large furniture companies come to us and renew with us multiple times for funding for their businesses. So we're definitely we're doing some wonderful things for businesses, helping them go to that next level. And our model is to help businesses grow and succeed, without them sacrificing, their product line or sacrificing, their financial solvency in a sense.
Now, you had mentioned that it's very quick for them to get an approval or a denial. And I wanted to better understand, why is it so quick with your company relative to, waiting 6, 8, 9 months to get a no? What's the difference there?
Yeah, we have a streamlined process, and it's very simple. We have a one-page application, versus a 5 or 6-page application that you would get from maybe a larger financial institution. We require basic documentation. We're going to look at the 6 months bank statements. We're going to look at the merchant statements, credit card statements, if they accept credit cards. They don't necessarily have to accept credit cards. Want to make sure that that's clear. Because we work with companies who accept credit cards as well as companies who do not accept credit cards. So we're going to look at the one-page application. Depending on the loan amount, we may also look at the tax return and some other necessary documentation. We have underwriters in place that's able to turn these files within, anywhere from 6 hours to 24 working hours, that is. So that puts us in a position where we can get offers out to our clients, immediately versus, and then we don't have the guidelines. We don't have the credit requirements as a local bank. We don't have the debt-to-income ratios that are requirements as a local bank. We don't have retained earning requirements as a local bank. So there's certain things that, we're able to get right to the point, look at the revenue, and base things off the cash flow of the company to determine our approval versus considering all these other facets that normally goes into, your institutional lending.
Jared has got a question for you. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I was wondering, what is your average loan amount and what is your average time to close for your customers?
Yeah, great question. Our average loan amount, due to some of the marketing campaigns that we have launched, our average loan amount has been right around $80,000.
Okay.
So, on the low end, as we mentioned, do 25 would go as high as $30 million. But for the most part, our average loan amount is between $80 to $150,000, we could say.
All right, let's clear that up. You said $30 million, or did you mean $3 million?
$3 million, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Go ahead, Jared's got another one.
And how long does it typically take you to close on an $80,000 loan?
Granted that the merchant participates in us getting the funding documents, and in a timely manner, we can fund in a matter of 2 to 5 business days.
Wow.
On average, I would say 5 days.
Okay. What about repayment of the loan? Because there are different, you've got some elbow room there. So sometimes they're very short, sometimes they're long. How much time does your average customer, or in some cases, maybe even take it to the extreme, how far out can you go with this?
Okay. Yeah, it's another great question, Jared. And this would be one of the ways we also differ from some of the competition. Most of the working capital solutions that's out there, working capital products that's out there, short-term financing, the approvals are between 6 and 10 months. We're able to provide working capital loans anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. So we go a little bit longer than the typical cash advance company that you would see in the industry. And then our cost of capital over that period of time may be equal or less than what people are paying at 6 months or 12 months. So we have a very, very competitive pricing. Also, we're going out a lot further than most cash advance lenders are going out.
Now, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Keep in mind that every merchant is different, every business is different, and there's different levels of qualification. So what we can do for one client may not necessarily mean what we'll be able to do across the board for everyone. Everyone may not qualify for 2 years. So I just want to make that clear. But if there was, if I was to give a limit of the best we can do on terms, it would be 2 years. Okay. And on the short term, it would be 6 months.
You'd mentioned earlier that you have a remarkable renewal rate on people coming back, repeat business from the same clients. Tell us about that and why.
Absolutely, and that is probably one of the biggest things that sets us apart from many of our competitors is our renewal rate. Our renewal rate is actually, hitting over 80% this time. We say 80%, but it's probably more closer to 84% right now on the renewal. Let me tell you the reasons why. Some of the reasons I've already mentioned, but, I'm kind of reiterating some of the things I've already said. One of the reasons is our cost of capital differs from many of the cash advance lenders that some of our clients had associated with prior to coming to us. That would be one reason. They're going to save a lot more money with us. Secondly, the time factor plays a very important role. We get the clients that typically have to wait weeks or even months to be funded. They come to us and we get them funded in a matter of days. Guess what they're going to call 3 months from now when they need some more money for their business? They're going to call us. And now, because they're already in the system, our renewal process actually goes even faster than the initial process. So on a renewal, they may get within 24 to 48 hours we can fund the business. So I'm trying to make sure I'm answering everything, your question correctly. But for the most part, it's the time factor, our cost of capital, and thirdly, I would say our customer service. Our customer service is second to none.
All right, Ron, thank you. Well, let's take a break right now, and on the other side, when we come back, let's talk about some examples on, approval rate, the process, higher loan amounts, how you differentiate that with some real case studies. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with Ron Davis, our funding specialist at merchantbankingresources.com.